The Wannabes, episode 19 of season 2. My name is JD.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Wasabi. JD, how have you been?
I'm doing great. We are recording so close to our release day. We are doing this on a Tuesday, maybe for the first time ever. I don't know.
In a while. We've done a few cheeky Tuesdays before, but it's been a minute.
We were just like, oh, dude, we got to sneak this in. Weekend wasn't good, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
But I'm doing great, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. I've been super busy with both in-game stuff and content stuff, as you know, working on a secret project that I'm aiming for a Thursday release. That's probably like the most likely thing. So whoever listens to this podcast, got a little surprise for you on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
And then some secret melee tech that I'm still kind of experimenting with and trying to flesh out before I kind of like announce it. But I think it's pretty strong for Fox in the Fox Smart matchup. And then that's all the stuff like with melee. And then obviously I did commentary top 8 with Kenmore.
Mhm.
So shout outs, and I'll get into that more later. And then played a lot on Sunday or what was it? On Friday? No, Saturday for Levo. And with homemade waffles and my bracket and stuff like that. So that's kind of like the major updates, like on the melee side of things. Though, JD, I actually have some life updates for you.
Let's hear it. You saved it for the pod, didn't you?
Yeah. That's what you do after 2 years of being on a pod.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so your boy got a job offer.
Nice. I know it. It was about time. You got it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna accept it for sure. I'm just trying to like figure out like some information and like start dates and stuff like that. And then once that nails in, I'm gonna sign a contract. But I'm really excited.
Okay.
It means I'm gonna be busy again.
Yeah. Well,
and things will shift, but we'll see how it goes.
You made the most out of your time off, I think. Obviously there was a period where you had to figure it out, but once you did, it was like you're not going to regret any of this in between time that you took. And
oh yeah,
right back on the horse. Do you want to give like a quick little explanation of what's going on, what type of job, stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a project manager position for a health company, not a startup, so it's a little bit more secure, and essentially going to be handling like the patient recruitment and like advertising and marketing and like operations side of a few COVID trials for like and so I'm pretty excited about that.
That's great.
It's gonna be a good cause. It's like not vaccine related, it's like more so like traditional clinical trials types things. And then I'm just excited to learn and grow, and I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm excited. I think I'm just like worried about like how busy I'll be and all of that. I think I'll probably have to tone down a little bit on like the content and streaming side, and probably outside of this podcast and a few passion projects when I get the catch the win for it, like I did with this secret project coming out Thursday.
Right.
I'm probably gonna put all my time into playing and improving the game. So hopefully I can still put in like 4 hours a day if possible, rather than like the 6 or 8 that I was doing off break. So fingers crossed on that.
Yeah.
I have to like be just like a little bit smarter again.
Wow, only 4 hours. How are you going to improve with only 4 hours a day?
It's tough. Practice. People are putting in a lot of hours in Melee these days with Slippy and the new Slippy updates and stuff like that. People are just putting on ungodly hours, and that's the issue. Is everyone's at least, I feel like, putting in 2 for a lot of it. So you gotta do more, or do it smarter.
I mean, shit. My philosophy, right? Just keep your skin in the game, and you will not go astray. That's So yeah. If it works for you, 4 hours, because I know you could be a workhorse and really like get a solid chunk of time and make it sustainable. So, whatever hours that turns out to, that almost doesn't matter as long as it's working for you, right? So,
Yeah,
I'm excited to
4 hours
hear.
is like a rough estimate. We'll kind of see how it goes, and obviously I have to just be more flexible. I think it's just like I can't like just like sit in my computer all day doing like all the things I need to. So I might have to just be like a little bit more on top of things. But it'll be there. I'm expecting an adjustment period for sure.
Oh yeah, you'll figure it out though, and I really am happy for you this job. I mean, um, I know that the last job was kind of the reason you moved out there, so it's really cool that you're able to. It's not like you have to relocate for this new one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's great
It's
that.
based in Maryland actually, but I'll be working East Coast hours and doing remote, and they're totally fine with that.
You're gonna be waking up at 6 8. Oh, you're gonna have a. Oh, I got you. So you're gonna be out of work, yeah, out of the day early, and you're
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah. I'm
yeah,
probably gonna ask for 7 just because I feel like seven's way more like doable for me
yeah,
because I normally get
six.
up around that time.
Six is rough.
6 is pushing it, I think, like to
Yeah,
be like switched on by then.
I think seven's fair.
So
10
yeah.
a.m. their time. Who really is like super productive from 9 to 10 a.m. anyway? So that's, I think,
Yeah, exactly. Still gives me like a lot of the day.
yeah,
My days will finish around like 3, which I'm pretty psyched for.
that's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
I think you're gonna make do with that pretty well. I'm excited to see how you kind of, because you're on like a shooting star right now, and now you're kind of entering an orbit, but you're gonna keep momentum in a lot of ways. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. It's lots of things are gonna change, and truthfully, I'm like a little bit nervous for it, but I'll figure it out. I think I just really enjoyed the time that I had off, and like to put in like the actual like ungodly hours into the game again. I think it's been fun and rewarding, and it's just crazy how many players at the top are doing that right now. Also,
I'm just happy you were able to admit that it was an ungodly amount of hours to your credit. But if you lost perspective and you're like, I'm glad I was able to do just get to do the minimum, I would have punched you in your face. You were putting in so many hours. You deserve that credit. But any listeners out there, you should know what what a lot of hours looks like.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's good, man. I'm super happy for you just hearing how you're talking about it. I think you're having the like a really great mindset because you're not overconfident and you're not pessimistic. It's like I think the happy medium you kind of need to be able to be flexible and to figure it out as you go, because it's impossible to know how it's going to feel once you're in it, once you're starting, and we'll talk about it every week.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we'll have an update towards the end of May about that.
And that content piece, man, Will actually showed me before we started recording, and I we'll dive into it next week. I want to talk about it once it's finished and released, because
Yeah, yeah,
it
it
gets my
will change
juices
shape a
going.
little bit. Yeah, but initial thoughts, like what were you gonna say before I interrupted you?
Well, I was going to say I have to hold my tongue because I'm excited about
Okay,
it.
then hold your tongue
Yeah,
for
that's it.
sure.
That's I think that's a compliment enough. But once it's out there, we'll revisit and it'll be fun.
Yeah. I just hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. It's as I always say, it's my best video yet.
Honestly, dude, like, ugh, whatever. We'll talk later. Um,
Yeah,
you're baiting me right now.
I'm baiting. I'm baiting. You gotta tickle the crowd a little
All
bit.
right,
But let's get to your stuff.
yeah, let me change the subject here because I'm also hype on the melee train because the doubles build has been released and it is way better than I could have possibly imagined. First off, I think I'm done with just unranked singles. Like
Hmm.
we're over that because to hop into a doubles game, excuse me, I muted that. Don't worry. Um, to hop into a doubles game is so easy. You just pop in EC and you keep yourself red, and within 20-30 seconds you're in a game, and you have twice the chance of having someone with bad connection, and it's not perfect, but Pig and I, other Will, my
Hmm.
one of my most practiced teammates, we had a long conversation this morning, and it brings up something that I kind of want to talk about in a more macro level. But basically, we made plans to at least once a week, for at least an hour. That's it. That's the only commitment we made. to find a good team to practice with and get, just solid dubs practice in. And it works for both of us. We picked a time. It's like 4 to 5 p.m. So we're technically still on the clock, but it's like the day's almost over. So we're fine. Work from home has those insane perks, as you know.
Yeah.
And we're just going to start trying to collect people to be in our little orbit around our skill level, trying to get better, preferably static teams, to just be like, yo, Thursday 4 to 5. Oh yeah, great. Okay, pop in, play an intense hour. Maybe we'll debrief. Maybe we'll, but it's gonna be mindful, and it's gonna be like scratch the itch, and it could always go longer if that's available. But then we ended up talking for just like 45 minutes because me and him go way back too, and it was nice.
Yeah,
it was nice just catching up, like shooting the shit, talking about work, talking about our dogs. It was really nice catching up with him. And then this morning we played dubs for like 3 hours.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, we just happened to have like really light work days. My manager's out today and I'm waiting on some stuff, so I could legit take that time, and we played mostly on the unranked, but we would match colors and we would be on the same team more often than not. And yeah, we just got a ton of teams games in and just doing sick shit. He is very, like, I love teaming with him. Legit so good at just finding random rests off of like my back airs. You expect it to go back and forth, and he's just finding these fucking rests.
That's sick. Yeah,
I'm popping off, dude, because then I just I drill past him and wake him up, and then we're back in it, and it's like, dude, that was the sickest shit I've ever seen. Getting it off like drill shines, he's finding rests. Like it's obviously one of the most busted team comps. I think the strongest is Puff Fox. I think it's the strongest team comp.
It definitely has like the highest like kill potential.
Mm-hmm. I think it's stronger than Double Fox. Actually, I know that's kind of controversial.
That's a bold claim.
No, I think Rest is that good.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, like, that kind of attitude that I'm talking about. So that's Melee, right? This was today. Dubs became this thing that I'm so excited for. I'm gonna hit up chess also and see if I could set up something similar, like low commitment but frequent, just kind of like this podcast. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is I'm starting to realize that the things, if I just commit to once a week, some sort of commitment, some sort of thing that requires my attention, requires my full effort, or something close to it, that it will enable me and motivate me to do consistent practice during my free time. And I have two other examples of that. One is I started playing volleyball. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. I did my 3rd session yesterday.
That's high. No, yeah, you didn't mention this to me.
Yeah. And a bonus session on Saturday, actually, with chess. We got to chill. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. And I'm getting really into volleyball. Like, I have hand-eye coordination that came from other sports, and the biggest thing is like spatial awareness and timing jumps I'm trash at. But besides that, if I'm, as long as I'm somewhat in shape and I can show up and be prepared, I'm like taking to it pretty quickly. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to play volleyball for a very long time. I think it's going to be my sport that I just play.
That's high. Possible. Nice. Yeah.
It's so much fun, dude. Like, dude, oh my God. I hit a receive from the 6 spike. I like got a good receive on it. And
that's sick.
Oh, it was the best fucking feeling, dude. Cause everyone popped off. Cause this dude just like hit a gnarly spike. I positioned well, luckily. Whatever. I'm getting off track here, but
you gotta watch IQ now again.
Again, I'm gonna rewatch it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For Matt's sake, because I know he's gonna bring it up whenever you guys talk next.
Dude, Haikyuu rewatch is on the agenda. Because now I could go back and like take notes and like, because it actually does a decent job kind of teaching some fundamentals, not just basics, but like fundamentals of volleyball.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm super off track. I could talk about volleyball for hours, but that's one thing, right? So I have volleyball every Monday from 7 to 10, And that actually motivates me to exercise because I have a reason to want to be in shape. I don't want to feel like crap the next day or the next 2 days. I want to be able to keep up. I want to be able to improve at the sport. Well, I don't have to do insane workouts, but I should be able to do cardio 3 or 4 times a week to benefit that thing, that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second example is another thing where I started just adding to the repertoire recently. Is this the piano, right?
Yeah.
And I've had it for a while. I did about a month and a half of kind of learning over the summer, and quarantine hobbies. You know how that goes. So,
Yeah.
I was off of it for a while, and one of my best friends from high school, we were hanging out the other day, and he mentioned that he work slowed down for him and he's trying to find something because gaming isn't satisfying him. It's fun, but it's not challenging him. And he goes, I want to do something I've never done before. I want to learn how to play the guitar. And it just a flash of inspiration. I'm like, dude, I want to get back into piano. I've been wanting to practice piano. Why don't we have just a conversation? All we commit to is a conversation once a week where we just talk about if and how much we practiced that week and what it feels like and kind of that whole thing. And I'm actually recording them for my other project for the Garlic Salt podcast.
That's hype. That's hype.
And it's going to be, the full interviews will exist. They're not going to be part of the show, really. There might be like a 30-second snippet of like updates or something. I don't know what's going to happen with it. All I know is that it's working. I'm committing to like myself. Okay, just put in 15 minutes. And then of course that turns into half an hour. And then, oh shit, I practiced half an hour today, or 45 minutes, or an hour 1 or 2 times, and that is what I'm realizing. It's so much of the Wannabes. It's so much of just, I've seen what a long, patient process can culminate into, which is something that I'm just excited to do that once a week. And that kind of, as you like to say, will give me back energy. And
Classic Wassabi saying.
But it's like,
it's true though.
It's super true. It's so much of it. I mean, it's very true when it comes to like a sport that's literally generating energy, but like mental energy, like emotional energy, being able to talk to a friend who's also going through that very, very early cycle of practice. You and I were on kind of later cycles of practice when we started the podcast, because we were like, man, we've been playing for a while. Now what? And with me and Kevin, it's like, man, I've been playing for 3 weeks. Now what? It's it's such a similar principle. And it's really cool that I'm understanding, like, if I have a week ahead of me and I have 3 or 4 quote unquote obligations, but that are fun obligations and that I want to show up to and be present for and be improving at, then in those little moments in between where I'm bored or I'm about to start watching YouTube, or I'm going to just do something unproductive, I'm like, let me just crank out my 15 minutes. I'll put it on the board. I'll feel good about it. I'll just do 15 minutes piano, or let me just go for a walk, or let me just hop on the bike, and it's really working out. It's going pretty.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Well. Yeah.
Damn.
/rant.
Damn. And end of JD rant, dude. That's so awesome. That's so exciting. I'm glad like you're doing like so many other things, and it's giving you like energy back. Haha. there it is. But no, I mean, it's so important, like being able to like just consistently do that and like kind of find your groove. So I'm excited that you're in like kind of a groove as well.
Yeah. And it's a little less focused than kind of what you're bringing, right? Like you're probably going to see a lot more, definitely going to see a lot more gains in Melee than I will on any of these things. And it's just awesome that even though the strategies are pretty far apart, we're still kind of meeting in this place of like, hey, we're working towards something, and that feels amazing.
Yeah.
This is kind of a theme the last couple episodes now, where we're able to be like, yo, I'm setting these kind of short-term goals and hitting them, or at least, you know, doing something that feels right and feels like, you know, we're pushing forward and improving where we want to improve, and we see looking forward if weeks line up similar to the weeks we're having. I mean, with you, that's way more tumultuous. Now that's changing, but you get what I'm saying, you know?
No, I get what you're saying. And I mean, in the end, like it's nice because like we are doing like really different things, and at the same time, it's like, you know, similar to like, you know, that conversation we had 2 weeks ago where I was talking about like playing and stuff. Like I was talking with my therapist, like we're just doing what's fun right now, and like inherently, like over the past like, you know, 2 years plus that we've been doing this podcast, it's like that's just like kind of the JD thing to do, and this is kind of like the Will thing to do. Like you love much more like breadth than I do, and I much prefer like depth and like, you know, more it to be like more focused. And like in the end, like that's what's fun for each of us personally. Like I like truthfully, like I know you, and I know that like what you are saying is like super fun for you.
Yeah.
It would just be stressful for me.
Oh, dude, I can't imagine practicing 4 hours of Melee a day. You fucking kidding me? Are you kidding?
I'm going down to 4 hours.
JD. I know.
I'm going down to 4 hours. Dude. That's the problem. But yeah, exactly. I mean, like both of like what is us playing as adults and having fun is funny enough, mind numbing. If we had to do it, like if we had a role switch.
Yeah.
And then that's like a kind of the funny thing about, I feel like that's kind of like been the journey of season 2, if we can get a little bit meta, is kind of just like, I feel like we've kind of like both accepted but also like just diverged more clearly than in season 1. And I think I find that really, really interesting, because I think that's what happens when you grow up too, right? Like you start out as a kid, you're kind of all the same. You're like, you like Pokemon? Hype. I like Pokemon. We're friends. And then it just gets more and more nuanced, and then like Melee and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, like as we grow up and like, you know, there are other aspects. Like you have a dog, I have a cat. We both, you know, have relationships that are, you know, different inherently because we're dating different people. Like it just changes. And so I find like it's really interesting, like season 2, it's like the acceptance of play, and also that like of like the divergence of us two, which I find really interesting. Because if you think about like halfway through season 1, it was like we'd be going to the same tournaments and all of that, and it would be like a side note of like the different stuff we're doing. But it's interesting that that's in the forefront right now.
I totally agree, and I'm super here for it. You know, I think one thing that we might overlook sometimes, because at this point we've known each other so long, it kind of goes without saying, we do have a ton of similarities still. A lot of, you know, they mentioned the relationships, the obligations, and that's become more of an undertone as we've, you know, talked about it ad nauseum and really just understood it for each other. So I know that anything going on in 80% of my day to day, if there's an issue with it, I know that like you would understand right away. The foundation of our podcast is that we're getting into the adult world and we're trying to figure out how to balance this thing we love oh so very much. And now, yeah, I totally agree. Season 2, I just find it way more interesting to hear the differences and the different things you're doing than, you know, to revisit the new stuff or the in common things, which is just, that's kind of like a duh thing to say, right? Like,
yeah. Well, it's interesting though, because like friendships change as people change, or people change, so friendships change too as well inherently. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt super meta, but I find it really interesting and like exciting that like you're doing like stuff like that, like volleyball and learning the piano, and like that's all, you know, reading movie scripts, right? Like throwback to last episode,
well,
but like
a single movie script.
single movie script, singular.
Sure.
But you know, that's still super crazy. And then like, but we still kind of loop back with this podcast and also as a commentary duo moving forward also.
Oh, I can't wait for Sunday. I'm so, I mean, I had a good day. I you know, as a family.
You missed the sick top 8. There was a reset.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to doing that, and I hope they'll have me for the next one.
Yeah.
I didn't blow
Well,
my shot.
fingers. Yeah, no, I'm no, no. I already was like talking, and they're like, yeah. Like I was like, oh yeah, it sucks that JD had a family thing last minute, and they're like, yeah, no, it's cool. Stuff happens. Like I understand. So I don't think you have to worry about it. I just know the main person's like taking a week off from TOing because TOs do deserve a break.
Yeah, TOing is
But
rough.
back to comedy, I just gotta say, dude, I gotta give a quick shout out to Kemore. Like he killed it on top eight. Like we meshed pretty well, and like we did even like a debrief call afterwards to like be like, oh, like where could we have been better? But like honestly, it was such a sick top eight, and we were able to like rift off of each other, which was sick. And like when Kemore talks about like ties Melee in with his like competitive table tennis stuff, ooh, it's absolute fire.
Wow, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that angle, and a nod to all the ping pong watchers out there in the
Yeah.
melee scene. The Venn diagram that's basically a circle.
Yeah, I feel like that's the sport I would do if I wanted to like do a sport again actually.
That's cool. I
Cuz I
think
like solo sports.
no,
Cuz then I can grind it. I can grind if I choose to.
yeah, yeah. Volleyball is absolutely not a solo sport. The
Oh my goodness.
furthest from it. Yeah, dude. I,
Yeah.
I think Kenmore knows a lot about the game. Obviously, I want to check out more of what that tournament because I didn't get. I just kind of popped in at one point, but
Dude, watch top 8. Watch anything with Sharp in it.
Peach, right?
Peach, really, really, really good Peach. Probably the player in top 8 that like impressed me the most based on like gameplay and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely will. And he's not just a meme machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's good too.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I found it so funny. I said it on the Discord, but I realized I was like, hey, like halfway through commentary, I was like, hey, put out the tweet about us commentating. He's like, I did. Like, I tagged you in it, but then I realized that I didn't follow him
Oh yeah.
because I read all of his tweets on our Discord.
So yeah, I thought I might not be following him also.
You should check. You should check as well.
Okay.
But yeah. The quick segue, talking about commentators, dude. Saturday, I got to play a lot with Homemade Waffles before bracket, and unfortunately ran into him in bracket, and we almost had to face again in losers, but I unfortunately like lost. But dude, the Levo bracket was super fun. Like I don't think I did anything like spectacular, but it was just fun to kind of like get into the groove of tournament brackets again, and like I honestly am excited to like play more with him, and maybe some possible IRL sessions because he's a town over.
Are you ready for a little mini game? I want to see how quickly you can review your Saturday bracket
Yeah.
while keeping it like getting the good stuff in. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready? All right. So we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so pools was easy. 3-0 off the bat. Then played Homemade Waffles. Nervy, a lot of last stocks except for game 4, lost 3-1. Definitely deserved it. We played for like 2 hours ahead of time. Then easy 3-0 to make it out. Then kept on playing, didn't take a break, ran out of juice, and lost to Travioli after taking like a nervy game 1. I like, when you're like up and then you barely take game 1, and then I kind of just was like tired and like side being onto stage. It was like when I play you at HNC a lot of the time, okay. and all wisdom and knowledge left the building, and then I lost. But it's cool. I ran out of juice, and I like honestly played from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. straight, minus like a quick lunch break. So like I didn't manage my energy super well, but like I was just having fun, and that's what mattered.
Great. That was under a minute. That was a good review.
Yeah, it was a short bracket, unfortunately, for me.
That's a good point.
Those shout outs to Homemade Waffles, both for getting 17th and also getting signed by Beast Coast.
Oh yeah, that's honestly long overdue. I hope he got a good deal out of that because I mean, valuable.
Beast Coast is a good org. Beast Coast is a very good org. They treat their players well,
good,
and casters and stuff like that. But yeah, the most deserving person for sure in the community.
Yeah, I like the trailer. I like that it really gave, it really shined a light on his gameplay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fact that they mentioned that he was a player, I think, is important because I think people forget that too. And it was nice that that trailer came out after he like, dude, he lost Game 5 to Lucky in a heartbreaker, and then lost to Kadoran.
Oh my god.
He lost to like literally two top 20 players.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he really puts the work in, and he's honestly an inspiration to me, to that attitude of just like, hey man, keep your feet wet. Just
Yeah.
just stay in there, and sometimes you'll grind more, sometimes you'll not grind as much. You could still be a sick commentator. You could still be involved in other ways, and always improve as that player. It's really inspiring. He's awesome.
Yeah, super inspiring. So yeah, shout outs to him as well. I'm happy for him as a friend.
Good. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so that covers Saturday. It covers a lot of the things I wanted to talk about, and your kind of life updates as well. You want to take a short little break?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool.
All right, we are back, and we this time for community questions, we got questions for ourselves, and I think it's going to be a tight episode, but let's get into it, JD.
Sure.
We both picked one question each to answer ourselves and to ask the other person.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. So for me, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on, like, I feel like there's new Melee content being made so much more now, and in my head, my personal idea is, I think, one, I love like what Golden Guardians is doing. Like, they're doing a lot of more casual stuff,
Yeah,
which I think is really, really important and like more fun to watch rather than like either educational or hype or an hour-long documentary, which Walt is a god for doing all the time as his like main piece of format. But ultimately, I think the question I have for you, and I can answer it afterwards, is, dude, how I think the next move, honestly, is to collab with so many other things. And I brought up this idea of like a roundtable of like the podcast groups, then podcast nations, and
yeah.
and start doing like interesting things, because I feel like each different sector has like their own little niche, right? Like Alston Melee is like, the homies, top 10 lists, fun the boys.
They kind of touch on all the topics too.
Yeah, they touch all the topics. Like, we got our thing, kind of growing up, a lot of like mentality type thing, and like player journeys. We got Cypher doing like master interviews,
Oh yeah.
and then like obviously Radio Melee super sick, and then Melee Stats has like probably the strongest niche and foundation in my head.
Mix up,
And
they pick a topic and dive into it real hard.
Yeah, so I think like it'd be cool to see more of a collab. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, easy yes. But I'll elaborate a little bit on why that excites me so much. It's I actually journaled recently about this topic, and kind of a eureka moment where I'm realizing that I am just so excited and so determined to make something good when it's with someone else. I mean, we refer to the podcast all the time. This is less of a heavily edited thing than it is just a check-in that we've grown better at over time, but something a little more deliberate, something with that kind of, what's the topic? Let's deliver something, really focused and really good, that type of thing. I could do it solo from time to time if I have the energy for it, but I love getting together, and I love not being the one who has to edit it. That's a big thing too. For so many different reasons. I see my output overall expanding with more collabs. Like, I don't think collab will take over any time or energy from solo projects. It's just all gravy. And all the people you mentioned, I think that little tweet was really nice that Alston put out, where
that was an amazing tweet.
Yeah, and
they kill the Twitter game also. They're probably the best. They are the best on Twitter, truthfully.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's just really nice to know that we're all kind of rooting for each other. And I think a small part of that is that we're all doing those different things, where even though we have done interviews, seeing what Cypher's doing is just like, yes, like keep cranking those out. I'm never going to match this output. I'm never going to match this level of preparation,
Dude,
and
it's
I'm so
so
happy it
good.
exists, right?
Yeah, I mean, even doing like the SEL previews, like he rips it and ships it like a few hours after we record,
Yeah,
and like there's no one else who like does long format discussions about like current events, and it's interesting because his platform and the way he does it is perfect for that because it's like something happens, we're on it type thing,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know other ones are like more long form type thing, like you know I think Mango 64, it's like top player opinions, but it's also like it doesn't happen like as regularly,
Yeah,
right? So they kind of sometimes it's old news by the time they like get a time to like sync up.
yeah. And I think the fact that all this exists, it just makes a really healthy ecosystem, where we all kind of have our little niche and we're all doing our thing, and it seems that everyone's enjoying doing their thing. Um, it's really cool. So I'm 100% on board with collabs. I think
Yeah,
overall melee content right now is, I mean, Golden Guardians, they came in to crush, and
they're crushing it.
they're
Yeah.
crushing. Like they're legitimately crushing. Um, their selection of people, like that group of four, is just insane.
Well, they
Um,
feel like a team too, which I really like. Like it's not like you know like there can be two players on the same thing and they'll do one video together, but this one it's like all right, you guys have to like it's almost like this is maybe I don't know if it's same for your family, but you know like family friends like especially for Filipino like family friends are kind of like just like pretty much family, and it's
okay.
almost like you know when all of your mom's friends get together and then you have the kids there and you could be all completely different but you have to just like hang out forcefully because you'll be bored,
Okay.
right? It doesn't matter what age group, it doesn't matter like whatever, it's just like yeah like our friends always see our moms always see each other so we have to be you know friends.
I
And it's
gotcha.
kind of like that where they like Golden Gardens is like okay, here you guys go into a room, we're gonna do our thing and then and put out some sick content.
Yeah, and I think they all respect each other a lot too, which is
Yeah, I
great.
agree.
They
And they're
all,
genuine about it. They all like each other too. Like
yeah.
I'm saying I'm making the joke about like forcing, but you know, it's just like they are like interacting way more than any other team is.
Yeah, it's like you're forced to hang out with people, but then you look around and you're like, wait, these guys are dope. And then you find, then you play doubles for 3 hours. It's like
Yeah.
it works out for everyone. Yeah, and the
Exactly.
content they're making, I mean the editing, the whoever is um the content director has some really good
Oh,
ideas,
they
like
all have the same editor, which is crazy.
as individuals.
So I at least I listened to the last Radio Melee. None, Toph, and PP, ironically, pre Golden Guardians had all the same editor,
Oh wow.
like for their individual YouTubes, which is I think really interesting. To end on it, I think like you brought up an interesting point about like everyone has their niche, but what I'm thinking is, and then you also like brought up like it's just easier to do a collab because like no one, you know, everyone has a set capacity and no one can do kind of everything.
Yeah.
But I think like why I think collabs are so important now is because like there are still pockets between each of the niches, and it's almost like I feel like it's I'm thinking of it like a color tree or like a color chart, you know, like
Mm,
one's red, one's blue, but put red and blue together, it's purple,
right.
right? It's completely different mix. And I think like with different like like currently the content is all siloed where like they each exist in their own domain, but if we could like collab and kind of like mix it up a little bit more, it could bring up like some really like interesting concepts and new types of things. Like what happens if you threw like melee stats type stuff with like a Walt or Junebug type editing style, you know, and
Yeah.
like creation. Like it would just be so cool to just like mix and match, right? And I think like if we can as a community like not silo ourselves with our content, I think that would be like the next step for moving forward and like continuing making this game as sick as possible or showing how sick this game is.
I really like that perspective, and not only does it create something better, I think we come out of it with a bit more growth for that
Mm-hmm.
one period. I mean, the growth me and you have gone through with an hour a week is great. After a while, it's just the steps become a little smaller. But when
Yeah.
we meet with someone else, it's like a big new experience that we can learn a lot from that one thing. and then we come back to this and we have something new, or we have just that little extra experience in the back of our head. Like one thing Cypher did was he did the countdown, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 back and forth.
Oh yeah, that was so brilliant. Yeah.
And I started using that right away. I'm like, oh, this is so easy to sync up. I'm going to do that every single time. It's genius. Because you can't clap when you are doing audio
recording. Yeah.
If you have video, you could sync it, but otherwise you can't. But that's...
What's your question though?
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Great question. Okay, so mine is going to be specifically about our ADHD journeys.
Interesting. Okay.
So my question, I'm going to keep it very simple and I'll answer it myself. How are you keeping yourself fed? Because my appetite has plummeted.
Yeah, it does affect appetite.
I can answer first if you want.
No, I don't mind going into it. The funny joke is stress. Definitely, I stress eat, and it's been a stressful time. So that's my lighthearted joke about it. But in the end, I think one is like, it's good that you're noticing it. Like, there's obviously this is me as a biology major, but like, there's the science side of it where it's like, is the medication too strong? Because at the same time, like, I think that like the Vyvanse loss of appetite is less than what I would assume the Adderall loss of appetite is. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know, but it would be worth consulting with your physician about it.
Okay.
So as a friend, I'd suggest that. But like in terms of other stuff like that, I think then, with loss of appetite, it's more about just like making sure you eat something. And I think like the thing is like just like making it more of a routine then. And then also just like cooking stuff that is like not gonna like bog you down or make you feel like sick or anything for your day, but like, something super, super good. Like I made last night baked feta with like broccolini and like roasted onions and bursted like grape tomatoes.
Wow.
Like it was like a 1-sheet pan recipe, and that's something like quick and something I can do like while doing something else. And I think like just like planning out your meals more so that you get like the energy back, definitely is like worth it. I'm not super hype on the Soylent route. I've never been a Soylent bro, but obviously there's that as well.
I don't drink Soylent either. I've had it for tournaments. It's really good when you need just something. I just
don't think it should be a consistent thing.
I agree. I think,
and that also gets expensive.
Yeah, if nothing else, because it's inefficient pricing.
Yeah. Shakes though. Shakes would be a good idea.
I was into shakes. Yeah. So my answer is, and the reason I bring this up is because obviously it's been a bit of a struggle. I found some solutions. The first thing I was doing was drinking shakes every morning. I had to kind of stop that because I was having some stomach issues. I don't know if that was because of the Adderall and I just started taking it, but I was getting upset stomach and it was becoming a bit of a... you get over it, midday, but it's just like, I don't want that every morning, it's rough. So I dropped that a little bit. What's up?
Yeah. Do you like sandwiches and that type of thing? You're an adult. You could buy appliances that make things better.
I have a panini press.
Okay. All right. Well, you solved.
Well, I didn't need that little jab, but I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, I think people forget. I think I forget this too. I'm saying it because I forget it too. Sure. It's like, all right, we could just like buy something to like make something better.
Yeah. No, I was I looked into panini presses and I went to Costco, and funny enough, I was gonna, order it online, and then my mom comes home and she's like, I got you a panini press as a gift.
Oh, that's hype. Aw, that's sweet.
I'm like, sweet. I guess I am an adult. I get gifts from my mom. No, it was really nice of her. I do appreciate it. And I have been using it to eat a bit more. And there's like a multi-pronged thing here,
Yeah.
I'm trying a bunch of things, and I'm kind of resigned to the fact that it's not going to be like, oh, here's the one thing that will solve this. Hummus and Stacy's chips, a delicious snack that you could fill up on pretty quick. And it's hummus. You don't feel like shit after eating hummus unless you eat a fuckload of hummus, but it's good to have. Almonds. I started keeping almonds on my desk, lightly salted, and just, eat every once in a while, just popping an almond. That's just so much better than filling that time not eating anything.
Yeah. And I tough because I think it's also like I can sense like the like obvious like being a little bit worried about it. That's why you're asking that. That's why that was your question. I think also like the thing is like like whatever works for you. Also, like
Yeah,
there's no need to. We're also I think also just coming off of the excitement, especially if you think about like earlier in the episode, like all the things you're doing.
sure.
There's probably like just like a lot of excitement to do all of that, right? And to like kind of not slow down for like food or whatever because we don't need it, right? And generally like people in America tend to overeat and I do as well. But like I don't know, like there are times where like I think yesterday I was so into this secret video project that is getting released Thursday that I forgot to like I had a half a banana and then I ate tacos at like 3:30 or 4.
Yeah.
No, I think it was like definitely 5 at least.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and like I don't know. I normally don't do that, so like I'm not beating myself up for it, but I think it's just like yeah, like sometimes we'll just get lost in the sauce, but that's also because like we're able to like actually do the stuff we want to do and not feel like so beholden to like a lack of energy or whatever, right? I think like maybe like like I've definitely been subject to like eating out of boredom, right? Or eating because I feel like I'm so low energy
Right.
because I need to focus, right? And that's kind of a way to like reset. And like now that I don't need that, then like it's like where does eating fall into place for it? And obviously there's the obvious answer for like sustenance and nutrition and a healthy life, but like making it more of an active choice rather than something to do like in reaction to like in reaction to something like feeling low energy or boredom or whatever.
Right. Having food be both a routine, but also something that I think the big thing for me is I'm realizing when I'm mindful, and I'm realizing it kind of now. This is something that
Hmm.
I didn't realize I realized, but when I'm mindful with my food, when I am making, setting up a panini and doing it with kind of care and like slicing the cheese, you know, really thin and making choices and being in that for like 15 minutes or whatever, however long it takes. And, you know, I guess you could say putting love into it. That's what people
Hmm.
really think of.
Yeah, SpongeBob Krabby Patty episode.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Um, when I'm making that Krabby Patty, um, there's that. It's a meditative exercise in a lot of ways,
Hmm.
and um, there's right now I have a weird relationship with food where I almost don't feel the hunger. I feel the lack of nutrition, lack of substance, lack of calories
Hmm.
first,
Okay.
and then my brain like encrypts that and goes, "Oh, that's what hunger should feel like." And then I feel the hunger. I like unlock that old
Yeah.
feeling that would just happen naturally. I have to like reverse engineer it. It's very bizarre. Um and so and also it's easier to create to fulfill that hunger to feel full. I had a huge lunch today, thank God. I made shrimp scampi last night and had that leftovers.
Oh, nice.
And that was another thing of like I cooked it and I used like different ingredients and I made decisions. Shit like that was it's rare and I would like to do it more. We'll see if I do, but yeah, our relationships with substance and food um, is something that maybe we'll talk about at length another time.
Yeah.
You mentioned it for the tournament, right? Like you kind of didn't eat, and that screwed
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I ate then. I just like that was more of like me literally playing like from 8 to like 1 and then like eating and then playing immediately afterwards with homemade waffles just
Sure.
because I wanted to get the minutes in. But yeah, I agree. I mean, like for me, like cooking is like both a fun thing when I can like kind of get in the groove, but like when it's like a quick thing, it tends to be a little bit more stressful because I just want to do like other things.
Sure.
But like for me, it sounds like the opposite for you, where like that kind of like doing something different and experimenting and having fun with it is like probably the thing you should lean more towards,
Yeah.
just because it's just like dude, like literally like the New York Times, like the cooking.newyork.times site, like you could just type in like oh, I have these ingredients in my fridge, or like oh, I need
Oh
something to be
yeah.
done like in like 30 minutes, and that's like how I found the feta broccolini, like grape tomatoes with like a lemon sauce type. It was a one sheet pan. It took like 30 minutes to make.
Oh,
And
wow.
like, you know, sometimes I like that. Sometimes I like go ham and do like beef bourguignon, like I did last week and stuff like that, which was fun. But I think like it depends on like what works for you. You know, like if that like quality time with the food and like experimenting and like that could be like, you know, do that, throw on a podcast, a hype playlist or whatever, and I think that could be another thing you could add to your routine as well. You know, and then you get excited about it, like with a shrimp scampi.
Yeah, and then I have leftover lunch, baby.
Yeah, and you have good lunch too. I think
Yeah.
that's also the thing.
Yeah, when things are tastier, I definitely eat more of it. So, kind of solving two problems there.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy I asked you, even though you're not having. It's. I think the medication is just hitting me a little harder.
Yeah, I mean Adderall is definitely stronger than Vyvanse, just
Yeah.
in nature.
So I'll definitely keep that in mind as well. Yeah, as always, your perspective on things. I learn always at least one thing. So that's good.
I'm glad, dude. I'm glad. My low key favorite. You could also just get a pressure cooker. Pressure cookers are sick. I'm terrified of them because they're kind of like pressurized bombs, but they're sick.
Yeah. Well, we have some things laying around. I think we have a pressure cooker here or there. We have an air fryer. Now we have a panini press.
Oh, you could do so many fun things with that.
Yeah, I'm
With
getting overwhelmed just thinking about it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I can send you. I can ask my mom for it. She has a really good. You could do fried chicken in the air fryer.
Oh yeah, send me that.
Like
Absolutely.
it doesn't need to be breaded. You could just do skin fried chicken with a little bit of like a fish sauce base, and it's really really good.
Yes, please send me that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Just have fun with it. Honestly, like Melee. Just think of it like Melee.
Sure. I put in a little bit of time, and then after a while, I've been doing it, and I'm just better at it. I'm like,
Yeah, or I'm thinking more of like, you know how
things.
like you what are we talking about, the sous shine? You know you love practicing that.
Oh, the sous tag. Oh baby,
the sous tag. Yeah,
just practice. Wait, so I should
shine
practice. I should practice something really difficult and cook. I should practice poaching eggs and shit.
You should just practice what you don't know. I think. I mean, you're smart, so like you know how much time to put it. Like I'm not expecting you to be like, will I learn how to make pasta?
Yeah,
you know. but you know, like I think just think about it like when you were learning how to wave shine, right? Like it's just like, oh, how do I do this? And like pick one thing that you don't know how to do, and then like kind of figure it out. Like, you know, and it could be something long-winded or something like really quick. Like I don't know, like roasting peppers over an open flame as like kind of like a base for something could be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that approach actually. That's a big reason why I stay invested in things is having that that thing ahead of me that I'm like I want to nail this. Like the next thing on my agenda.
It's a little mini game for you for sure.
Yeah, like I want to learn how to cook a perfect medium rare steak.
Yeah.
That takes a few reps, you know. So
yeah,
that's kind of next on my list. It's going to be an expensive hobby, but shit, at least I get rare steak out of it.
I mean, steak isn't too bad. I mean, it's pretty affordable, especially if you have Costco.
Oh yeah, well, I think we can make it work with something a little less top line, but not like. We'll
yeah, you could also like. I mean, supporting local stores is important too. It's super fun when you go to a local butcher shop. Honestly, that's the one thing I miss from living in East Hampton is I'd go to the local butcher shop and it's like, oh, there are these new sausages, or oh, this is a new cut, or like, oh, they got like this cut this time, and it makes it like a little fun thing, you know?
You know what, dude? You're so right. You're so right. That sounds actually amazing. I'm honestly like I'm just vibing with all the things you're bringing to the table right now. Literally bringing to the table.
Literally to the table.
Yeah. Shit, we got to end on that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. That's you know, cut it and ship it. Well, let's do it like Cypher. We'll get it out for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we got to do a Cypher style. Yeah. Well, all right, man. Glad we could catch up. I got to go check on my puppy and go to the butcher.
Word. Don't let me forget. Let's do a cooking thumbnail today. I'll do it later tonight.
Okay. Do Cooking Mama or something.
Ooh, that might be a good idea. Yeah.
All right. I'll let you do the thumbnails. I'll catch you later, man.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, man. Peace.